Now, you might think the world's healthiest countries and communities are all of the famous blue zones. But here's the twist, and you may have read the chapter in Gut Check. These places do not have exceptional longevity. And believe it or not, the ones that do have exceptional longevity don't eat what is described as blue zone people eating. Now, Sardinia may be the one exception. So stay tuned to discover which countries really lead the pack in health, and more importantly, how you can adapt their diet and lifestyle habits to boost your own well-being. All right, first on our list is Andorra, a little tiny gem nestled between France and Spain in the Pyrenees Mountains. Now, this is a little tiny country, but it boasts the highest life expectancy in the world, with many citizens living into their 90s. In fact, both men and female have late 80s, like 89.5% average lifespan. It's the longest average lifespan of any country. Now, interestingly enough, their Andorrans embrace a diet rich in olive oil, nuts, but get this, they eat a ton of goat and sheep cheeses and yogurts, and they eat sausages several times a day. These sausages have been traditionally prepared using fermentation techniques. And just so you realize, these guys eat what everybody else says you shouldn't eat: cheeses and sausages. But in fact, studies show that this diet produces some of the longest living people in the world. By the way, they live in a mountainous community, and most of them are sheep and goat herders walking up and down the hills every day. And walking is by far one of the best ways to reduce your mortality. Now, so this is not a typical Mediterranean diet, but we'll get to the Mediterranean diet with the next country. All right, the next country or principality is Monaco. And in Monaco is Monte Carlo, perhaps best known for its casinos, but it actually has an exceptional healthcare system and preventive care. And Monte Carlo residents have the second highest lifespan of any country studied. Now, I've had the pleasure of operating many times in a hospital where there is an amazing surgeon who trained me in one of his operations, Vincent Dorr. Interestingly enough, at Vincent Dorr's hospital, which is literally a half a block from the casino, patients get a lot of fresh seafood, vegetables, olive oil, and minimal sugar. And get this, every patient is gifted with a bottle of red wine from Dr. Dorr's own vineyard. Now, periodic fasting is also very common in Monte Carlo, and research by my colleague, Dr. Walter Longo from USC, shows that the practice of intermittent fasting can lower the risk of chronic diseases and slow the aging process. Now, Dr. Longo thinks that their good health is due to their extremely good healthcare system. He and I disagree, because having eaten and lived right next door to Monte Carlo, I can tell you that it's their diet, not their healthcare system, that's different. Their olive oil use is exceptional. Their fish and shellfish consumption is exceptional. And as I've said many times before, they have a salad with every meal, and that salad is loaded with vegetables that are part of the not only cruciferous family like arugula, but loaded with inulin-containing foods from the chicory family. In fact, I have never had a salad in the south of France or in Italy or in Monte Carlo that doesn't have radicchio, Belgian endive, frisee, or other of the chicory family vegetables. And I think that combination moved them to the top of the list, not their healthcare system. Finally, something that might surprise you, Singapore. Singapore has rapidly emerged as one of the world's most prosperous countries with an outstanding healthcare system and quite a commendable diet. Singapore's public health initiatives promote regular exercise and limit unhealthy food options through effective, almost draconian public health policy. If you've ever been there, I call it Disney World on steroids. The urban design actually encourages walking and cycling, fostering active outdoor living. The Singapore diet is rich in fresh produce, lean proteins, and very limited access to processed sugars and fat. Studies reveal that the fiber-rich and low-sugar diet in Singapore significantly reduces the risk of diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. And some very interesting studies have come up looking at the Singapore diet. People who eat a lot of mushrooms dramatically lowered their risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. And a curry study was done in Singapore showing that people who had one curry meal per week had a dramatic reduction in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Just one curry meal a week. Of course, curry has multiple good compounds such as curcumin, turmeric, and black pepper and garlic. And these compounds are notable for their effect on good brain health. Finally, I want to bring up one city that I visited for a nutrition conference, Toulouse, France, home of the Airbus Corporation. Now, Toulouse is known for the French paradox because, surprisingly, Toulouse has incredibly low rates of heart disease. In fact, the lowest rate of heart disease in all of France, which has a notably low rate of heart disease, despite a higher dietary fat intake. Toulouse is the home of foie gras. Toulouse is the home of sausages and cassoulet. The residents savor moderate amounts of red wine rich in polyphenols, complemented by healthy fats from olive oil. And foie gras, believe it or not, there is actually a foie gras diet that has been shown to lower LDL cholesterol, the quote bad cholesterol, and raise HDL cholesterol, promoting better vascular health. So the Toulouse diet, despite being rich in what would appear to be horrible foods, actually is one of the best diets you can eat. And by the way, Toulouse is kind of around the corner from where we started, Andorra. Maybe those cheese eaters and sausage eaters and foie gras eaters and red wine drinkers know something that we ought to pay attention to. Finally, Scandinavia. Now, it's no surprise that Scandinavia almost always ranks among the happiest and healthiest regions of the world. They always top the scale for high life satisfaction and excellent health care. And the Nordic diet has become now famous because it really focuses on the use of root vegetables, fatty fish, and seasonal berries. Now, studies have shown that this diet can significantly lower inflammation and improve blood sugar regulation, even in individuals who do not lose weight. The beneficial effects have been attributed to the unique combination of the dietary fats, which are higher in long-chain omega-3 fats and lower in omega-6 saturated fats. Now, interestingly enough, a study involving participants over the age of 50 showed that those who followed a Nordic dietary pattern actually improved their cholesterol levels and had better blood sugar regulation compared to a control group. Now, the concept of open-air living encourages year-round outdoor activities. And if you've ever been there, both in the summer and winter, as I have, these guys are out no matter what the temperature is, and they have an incredible activity level even in the dark and cold. There's also an amazing high level of social trust. And as I've mentioned before, trust in one another and trust in social engagement and outdoor engagement is associated with much lower rates of mental illness and stress. Plus, studies have shown that the Nordic diet supports better physical performance in older adults, ensuring independence and enhancing the quality of life as they age. And quite frankly, that's exactly what we're trying to avoid, is the sedentary being ended up in a nursing home that all of us fear the most. More amazing episodes just like this one. Watch now.
What's next to live a long life?
Next is you got to get some form of long-chain omega-3 fat, better known as fish oil. And vegans have no excuse anymore. There is algae-based DHA and EPA.